Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyeni, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 219 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with Gamersups, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something that interests you and you want to maybe try it out, I have the links down below in the description where you can check out their store page and use the code RTD for 10% off your full purchase. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode of these new amazing mods that come out each and every week. But now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods, and starting us off we have the Light and Dark Magic mod. Now the mod page reads that this adds a set of light-based and dark-based magic to the schools of Restoration and Conjuration respectively. These can be purchased from any merchants who sell magic depending on the level of magic, so the master level spells would have to be purchased in Winterhold after doing the master level quests. Overall, there's been 15 spells that have been added into the game, 8 of which are on the light side and 7 of which that are on the dark side. And some of the light spells include Shine, which is an apprentice spell, which is a continuous beam of light that deals triple damage to undead and Daedra. Then you have the Shining Wave, which is pretty much the adept version of that, Angelic Star, which is the expert version of Shine, and then the Wall of Light, which is also an expert. Sprayed on the ground, it creates a wall of light that deals triple damage to undead and Daedra, which is really badass. After that, you have some new ward spells, which allows you to create a high power ward on a target instead of just yourself. And then you have some cleansing spells, which cures your poison, disease, and paralysis effects on you or your targets. So that was some of our lighter side restoration spells. Now it's time to move on to our darker side conjuration spells. And starting us off, we have the Shade, which is an apprentice spell, and it's a continuous beam of darkness that absorbs health and deals poison-based damage to stamina and magicka. Following that, you have the higher levels of that, such as the Shadow Ripple, the Dark Impulse, as well as the Darkness Cloak spell. And then we have our master level conjuration spells in this new mod with the Death spell, which inflicts an enormous amount of poison damage on foes below 50% health. And you may have thought that sounded deadly, but wait until the number 1 master conjuration spell on this list, which is the Umbral Cascade, which creates continuous explosions of dark energy at the targeted area that absorb health and deal poison-based damage to stamina and magicka. As you can see, I'm showing you off what this actual explosion looks like here, and it is absolutely devastating. Now, one thing that I really like about this mod is it adds projectiles and just overall spells that can do damage to the Restoration and Conjuration skill trees, which normally Restoration was only for healing or maybe casting wards, and Conjuration was only for spawning things. So in my playthroughs, whenever I would go through the game, my Restoration would always be really, really low, or maybe I would just be using a health spell, so that's what would be getting my Restoration skill up. But over on the Conjuration side, I never really spawn things, I never really play with Conjuration too much, and whenever I do, it always seems to be towards the end of my character whenever I don't have any conjuration at all, and it would be almost impossible for me to increase it. But with this mod adding so many new spells to these categories of conjuration and restoration, you can actually deal significant damage in battle and actually boost your conjuration and restoration skills accordingly. And not only that, a lot of these spells are really satisfying to use and look really badass as well, and that's definitely why it's featured here at our number 5 spot. So I'd strongly recommend downloading the Light and Dark Magic mod and giving some of these new spells a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a brand new combat overhaul mixed in together with an animation mod pack. This is the Dynamic Combat plus Skyrim Animation Bundle mod. Now the mod page reads that this features the Dynamic Combat module mod as well as 7 Skyrim animation mods. And the Dynamic Combat module means that after unsheathing your weapon, you can press X while moving to use a normal new sprint attack, or you can press X and LT, X and RT, or a double tap of X to use power attacks. So now X isn't the only way of sheathing your weapon. To actually sheath your weapon, you stay completely still and then press X. But if you're moving around and you maybe want to power attack someone, you can press X in the triggers, or a bunch of different combinations that you can use to do different animations, depending on the weapon that you're holding. Now all of the weapons that you use will share the same power sprint attack animation, but each weapon will have its own different normal sprint attack animation, which means pressing X while moving. For Greatswords, LT and RT can be used while moving in any direction to do a 3/ attack. Bow, crossbow, and unarmed animations will be the same as Battleaxe and Warhammers, and this mod's completely compatible with Leviathan animations. There's no overlap, so you can use those Leviathan animations that we covered a previous episode back, and actually include them with this so that you have so many new animations at your disposal. Now, as you can see as I'm showing off some of these new animations, they look absolutely badass, and I know in some of my previous episodes where I've been using animation mods, or maybe I cover a sword mod and I'm swinging it around, I always get comments like, what kind of animation mods do you use, or what's your favorite, or which ones do you prefer, or could you recommend any? And there are so many animation mods and animation replacers on Skyrim, but it's always best to try to find these all-in-one mods, because you don't want to overlap animations, and you also don't want to fill up your mod list with just animation mods. So if you're looking for some new animations for your character and you maybe don't want to download a bunch of different animation mods, you just want it all in one mod, then the Dynamic Combat plus Skyrim Animation Bundle mod is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a brand new beautiful player home called the Karth Valley Watchtower. Now the mod page reads that the Karth Valley Watchtower is the northern watchtower for the Reach and also serves as a retreat for the Jarl of Markarth and his family. It sits in a fertile river valley that has remained, for the most part, peaceful for years. However, the leader of the Forsworn has been imprisoned, and the Forsworn have regularly been staging attacks against the tower and its guards. They'll eventually succeed in taking control of the tower, and are now using it as a base and vantage point. Markarth guards have their hands full with the conspiracies taking place within the city walls, so it's up to you to take the tower back. Now the tower itself is a player home, and it's complete with all of the crafting necessities, such as an alchemy table, an enchanting table, a blacksmith forge, an armor workbench, a weapon grindstone, a smelter, cooking pot, and tanning rack, but this mod also includes 2 new unique weapons, one with a custom enchantment, a new unique amulet to find, it has nav-meshed interiors and exterior pathways for NPCs, there's Forsworn enemies patrolling the grounds as well as a boss to fight, a garden with hearthfire planters, and named storage for every item imaginable. There's also 3 different notes and 2 keys which unlock important things scattered around the home and the surrounding area that reveal some lore and backstory on the Watchtower. They were intentionally placed in locations and are not that hard to find. Now as you can see, this is an absolutely beautiful player home, and the way that they were able to fit it all into a tower actually made it look really well. You know, I didn't think that a fort from the outside of Skyrim, you know, all those other forts that you stumble across and you see how run down and destroyed they are, they actually took one of those and made it into a nice beautiful player home, and I think they did a really good job, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 3 spot. So if you like the looks of the Karth Valley Watchtower, download it and become its proud new owner. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have a mod called BURP Spell Tomes. BURP is actually an acronym. It means Book Unity and Revamp Project, and this started out as an attempt to standardize the book covers across their own installation of Skyrim, and aims to replace all vanilla and DLC spell tomes with a more variety and a style that, in their opinion, is more befitting of a spell tome. There's also a collection of optional patches for currently supported mods. Now this entire project to date replaces the old 5 tomes that were in the original game of Skyrim with 350 new spell tomes, and where necessary, magic abilities have been moved to different vanilla schools in order to maintain unity and keep the newly added sub-schools grouped together. This should hopefully distribute abilities to different schools to better support more varied playstyles, even if just from an immersion perspective. They also include a bunch of patches for the spell tomes for the other spell mods that you may have, such as the Odin Magic Overhaul, the Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim mod, Triumvirate, the Mage Archetypes, Arcanium with the New Age of Magic, as well as Mysticism, which is the Magic Overhaul as well. All of those magic mods we've covered in the past, and just the fact that they've included patches that include new high-quality spell tomes for those specific spells as well is just incredibly awesome to me. Because if you think about it, the old spell tomes in Skyrim, they didn't really look too different than the original books, and I know that they don't really have to look amazing because you just end up reading it and it disappears anyway, but just the fact that they went out of their way to include almost a 150 megabyte mod that makes all of the spell tomes look absolutely amazing and make me actually want to put them on display now instead of just learning them all, because when you end up learning all of your spell tomes, you end up getting stuck with a whole bunch of spells that you end up not using, and then that's also where this Unity part comes in with this mod, because they sort all of your spells as well so that they're easy to find. All in all, I think this mod has everything that you're going to need whenever it comes to upgrading your spell tomes and maybe creating a mage character, and that's definitely why it's featured here at a number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the BURP spell tomes mod. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have a brand new player home called the Nightwielder Spire. Now this was once home to the Azuran Nightwielder, which was the greatest shadow mage to ever walk Tamriel. Before his death, Azra enchanted his tower so only a mage with the potential to match or surpass his own skill could gain entry. That mage is you. The Nightwielder Spire is a single tower in many worlds, and there's many different versions of this tower, each in a different shadow realm, and each accessible through a main tower. Each room is also furnished to accommodate different needs as well. And as well as a player home, this mod adds a new type of magic, which is shadow magic, which has been incorporated into the existing schools of magic. So to be a true master of shadow magic, you must first master all 5 basic schools of magic. This mod of course features a new player home with all of the crafting and storage necessities that you're going to need, as well as 19 new magic spells, 3 new books on shadow magic, a new spellbook crafting system, as well as some new equipment to use as well. Now to actually get around this player home, you have to pick up the staff that's included right at the beginning whenever you enter the door for the first time, and this can be used to craft shadow orbs, which allow you to build other parts inside of your home. For example, if you wanted to add an Elder Scrolls case to your library that actually displays all of the Elder Scrolls that you've accumulated, you can walk up to the middle of your library and shoot your staff at the ground, and it'll create a prompt on your screen that allows you to purchase the Elder Scrolls case. You then purchase it with the shadow orbs that you make in the main room, and the shadow orbs are really easy to create. You can either use a black soul gem, a grand soul gem, or 5 magicka. And once you have every room purchased and furnished, you'll have a brand new tower that you can teleport to whenever you'd like, and it's very easy to navigate too. You don't have to trek through your bedroom to get to your library. You can just walk up right to the portal and click I want to go to my library, which in a sense makes it so it's a 1-room house that you just keep switching what the room is, and I think that's a really cool idea in a house mod because nothing will ever get lost, and you won't have to constantly run from point A to point B and go through loading door after loading door. You can just select where you want to go and teleport there immediately. So if you're looking for a brand new player home for maybe an evil mage necromancer type character, then the Nightwielder Spire is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out because it checks all those boxes and also includes 19 new magic spells for necromancers and shadow magic. So what more could you want out of a mod like this? So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.